they had their own lives. Waxaan Isaaqa haddaba isku yimid because of waa la baday genocidekii. These people had their own lives. Cid walba meeshiisuu joogi jiray. Waxaan hadda isku taxan even our fabric ay dadkan ay burburiyeen. Isaaq was prominent, like it is Isaaq. Everybody had their own lives. Qof walba meeshiisuu joogay, did their thing. These people were very free people.
Absolutely.
You know? Hadda waxaa la kuoranayaa. Hence, I think, يعني the fabric of Somaliland ولا بربرية.
Absolutely.
And then these people, they don't say, هذا مهم.
You made a bastard kid. That's the character of someone who's bastard. Astaghfirullah.
People who are free.
Yes.
Before 1960, even before the British, they were free to do whatever.
For something because you think this is my dad. It's it's horrible thing that the way they made Isaaq people to feel. Like it's very...
I don't even this Isaaq in itself, it's a fallacy. I know there was the Isaaq Sultanate, but what I'm trying to say is, for example, nimankii higaadiya Soomaaliga marka la qoray ninka Germanka u qoray, Joseph Mendes, I think. And Burda, if you have an opportunity, wala kale, I think it was 18 something. Qawaayilkooday sheegteen mid waxaa habar jeclo mid waxaa habar wal Isaaq meesha may oranin. This is how free these people were. Way garaneen waa Isaaq. They know that they are the children of Isaaq, but because they had so much opportunity, lama hoos keenin waxan yar ciriiriga. They were able to express themselves. Even look, wuxuu yiri mid habar jeclo wanahay wasamana bokor kan kalena waa habar wal. I don't know qabiilkiisa. Dadkii ugu horeeyay af Soomaaliga higaadiyay. Kuwa Kenya joogadaad eegtid, everybody knows who is. Lakuma gamban jirin Isaaqiya community, lakin everybody knew who he was. Hadda waxaa la kuwaranayaa, you don't have such opportunity. It's like it's a survival mechanism. Marka, you see it's something that is being forced upon people. You're not as free as you were once.
Yes.
Hadana maanta waxay kuwaranayaan, forget about Isaaq, take something known as in Somali, and then hoos imo ada diidid Soomaali waxaad hay Soomaali diid. Soomaalina, reer Soomaalina waxay u diiday nolol. Kuma iraado yaka waxaad in Soomaali diid. You see, even waxay diidanin xoolihiina inay Sacuudiga aad u dhoofisid. يعني they're cutting off your only sustenance. One of your sustenance. يعني routes of sustenance. Hadana iyaka la kuma iraado waxaad in Soomaali diid. Waayo waxay qaateen ethnicity Somali. I don't. This is it's terrible.
You know exactly. But the old people, they understood the multitude of having different identity. That's why they were able to survive. They knew exactly when to use Isaaq, when not to use Isaaq, when to express your interest. Forget about like Isaaq. Like if let's look, maybe even Idagaleho, Saad Mose, even themselves too. They had their own. Clusters were independently, like in Hargeisa, you have Nuh Ismail, where they're very independent compared to the other Saad Musa. You have in Hargeisa, because I'm from Hargeisa, you have Red Gurer who are Idagal, who are very independent compared to other Idagal. And you have Havarinis who are Isaaq, they were very independent compared to Havarinis. There was even women that is Isaaq, they're not Havarinis. How independent they were, to a point. So that's how it is, because you can wear yourself, you can be yourself. Now you're not yourself. Someone appointed something on top of you, and you just go like a chicken all over the place, and that's wrong, because that is bringing identity confusion. It's what I'm giving an example of Black America when they were accepted to be called Black. It didn't come from them. They are accepted to be called Black. And the Somali identity actually is not even, it didn't come from us, even though we were the first people to be called Somali. It didn't even come to us, It's a colonial term that they call us Somali. We don't even know what it means until today, And then, and that's why a lot of Isaaq, even a lot of other Somaliland, they didn't identify themselves as a Somali. Even when they went to East Africa, they didn't identify, because it was like, well, someone else call us that. So it didn't have any meaning. So they would have to identify the way they see it's best of their interests. Even you go to Kenya, you see even in Kenya, I hate when people say that you should not live with your own community. You should always live in your community. Here we have a Chinatown. And anybody say Chinese are racist by having Chinatown? Nobody, because they know in their order it creates a standard culture where it makes that community foolish instead of being all over the places. That's why they have Chinatown, they have a Korean town, they have a Japanese town, they have and so and so and so. So it creates that communal. This is actually, Edna, this is what exactly the modern discussion. If you go to Twitter, a lot of Adam people talk about the breaking down of family values. Family values start the family, it starts your community, your clan, your ego, and then in terms of Isaaq, it goes sub clan, your major clan. It goes like that. And that's the structure of family values. So when someone take you and putting on top of something that is not even yours, they are breaking down your cultural values. And then that's exactly, here in America, people talk about the black men have been emasculated. This is exactly seen with the Isaaq men, have been emasculated, and we had this discussion. You have been emasculated, you are told not to celebrate your mujahid. That's been emasculated. Because what is men? Men is celebrating their greatness. You are told not to celebrate your history. You're told your gara. All of this is the way to emasculate you, especially Isaaq men. Very important. You are told la faha. All of this is it's to emasculate you. What else you're told as a Isaaq person, which is weakening you? What else you're told? You're told, gara, somaldid, and because you accept it. But if you don't accept it, then they don't have a value. You can be emasculated when you put these things into values. And this is the problem of Isaaq. People have put these things into values. It's Somalnimo. If you don't feel that, if someone say to you, oh yeah, another thing too, Komulud, Abbas, all those things, it's to emasculating you, pretty much. But if you put those in the values, if today, let's say Nigeria, told you Abasu, it doesn't make meaning or anything. But because you give a Somali person who is not Isaaq so importance, if they say that, it becomes so meaningful to you. You get my point? But if you see that another is Somali, whatever from Somalia, whoever, even if from Somalia, they don't have any agents into you, then it doesn't matter. They can say Abasa, they can say Komulu, they can say Gara. It doesn't make sense. It's part of dehumanization, but dehumanization comes in when you give those things values, and then you don't fight them back. And that's the problem. And you allow them into your spaces, your safe spaces. And then that's how they create values. You allow them into your homes, you allow them into your community, you allow them into your society, into your media and things like that. Then they create values, if look at the Hutu and the Tutsi, because they were connected so much. So when the Hutu say to Tutsi your cockroach, it means something. But if an Igbo person come in Rwanda and call Tutsi your cockroach, it didn't mean anything. You get my point? So it's emasculations. It's where it's actually making Isaaq men being emasculated. And it's a process of genocide here. Exactly. African America, where they're facing here in America, after the slave, it's genocide. It's a Holocaust. Actually, a lot of African America, they call Holocaust. The greatest unspoken Holocaust.
African Americans are a minority. They are only 13% of this country. Okay? The people with power are the white folks in this country. African Americans, for more than 300 years, they were enslaved. Isaaq men are majority in Somaliland. a very strategic country
Yes,
with
but
massive
they
wealth.
allow, it's different for
Green
African
country.
America.
So that, yeah, so we can't even compare. It's worse for the Isaaq men.
Yeah, it's
If the Isaaq men have, if they have allowed themselves to be emasculated by people who are actually inferior morally,
exactly morally,
it's actually
strategically,
worse.
resource wise, they are all inferior. Like just being serious, you.
So
It's
it's because they fell into this trap of Somalidimo because they're kind of, I don't know if they're seeking idealism, which is non-existent, or if they're just inferior. They might be inferior in mindset, but I wonder how can these people be inferior if they were once out there trading with white folks, telling the white men who had much superior weapons and much power that, oh, you're not gonna you're not gonna subjugate them. So for me, my point is, how can these people? I don't understand
yeah, how this
what
could happen.
happened today that they're in their own country, a strategic country with all this massive wealth, unable to speak for themselves. They can't even speak about the SNM. They talk about the dervish.
Yeah, exactly. And then to I always say this, and you might be things I'm saying something else. To be inferior, it's a process. Nobody is born to be inferior, but you can put in a process to become inferior, to feel that inferior complex. It's you're putting in a situation where you become that. Example, you marry this guy, amazing guy, and then he start abusing you, verbal abusing you, physically abusing you, and you're a very powerful person, powerful woman, educated and everything, and you're always gonna ask like, why this woman she allowed to stay in that position? Because she put her in that position and she accepted to a point where she became inferior and accepted these things. But in the process, she could also empower herself and leave that situation and not become inferior. So inferior is not something you are born, is not related to blood. It's the process that happened, and you at that point, whatever that happened to you, you accept it, and then that situation make you inferior complex. But there's a way to empower yourself and to move yourself from that position. So what is the Somalimo is the process of
I,
making
I am.
people
I'll have
inferior.
to. I have to disagree there. I actually think it's complacency. The South people are very complacent. They're very greedy,
That
and
could be a
also
process
they have
that
no.
made them to
They
be
have.
that.
They have no since 1960, even prior. Because you see, they just left their country, went somewhere else without doing their homework. For me, because these people are many, 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 and Somalia is a failed state. They have no history, they have no culture, they have no morality, they have no wealth. You see, there's nothing Somalia can bring to the table. Absolutely nothing. We know this. So for me, it's not even they became inferior because of their complacency, their lack of confidence, and their greed. These people are very greedy, and they have no such thing. They are not for them to good. They are not utilitarianists. waxa weeye very individualistic. This is dhibaatada dadkan ku dhacday Isaaqa. Kan adayga qabataan aad meel ku qorataan inaad tahay greedy, inaad tahay qof complacent, caajis, complacent, dayacaad badan ay kaa muuqato, lack of self confidence, wadankaaga aad kala jeclayn, dayacaad. There's a word, utilitarianism, danta guud aad garanaynin. Dewatan, a Djiboutian guy came here talking nonsense, kibirka, from a country that is run by a dictator, one of the most brutal dictators. Hadana, Olairi, the worst country in the Horn of Africa. Poverty rate, Hadan Ege, United Nations, waxay meesha ugu gaajaysan Horn of Africa waxa weeye Djibouti. Meeshan intuu noo yimi noo boobotaynaya.
Because he has a confidence, Walalo.
I know. De waxana baday dadkan. This is what I'm trying to say. Dadkan ana baday dhibaatadan. Djibouti were less than 1 million people. Ciise intuu maanta ii soo gala aniga meeshan spaceka oo igu kibro, de waxay baday wiilasha Isaaqa. Nimanka Isaaqa ay baday. Because the Isaaqa jeefkiisa u eege. Ninka Isaaqa jeefkiisa your xaafadiisa he doesn't care about dignity, he doesn't care about morals, he doesn't care about wadankan leerada Somaliland. Ciidiisa ma kala jecla. قرن قلبه وصوكي وأنا وطن كان. He is 85% of this freaking country. Hadana watan sida la rabo la ka yeelayo. It's Isaaq. Isaaq is the problem.
Yeah, so absolutely. I think we are on the same page. When I talk about the process that you allow to make you and become inferior complex, it could be many things, you know. It could be like you say, ads, you know, laziness, not looking bigger picture, you know, behavior of zero-sum mindset. That's one of the things too. It's one of the worst things that you could have in any country, especially when people are putting in a position of power, you know. But those people who put in a position of power, they're coming from a culture that accepted that, you know. So it's a culture issue, and that create a process, and then process you became in that position of inferior complex. You know, I always tell you, Edna, and I think you might always get mad when I say this. I always tell you, have you seen any red Somalia, whatever Qabil is? He is in Hargeisa, cursing his Qabil in Hargeisa. Never. But you will see Isaaq in Mogadishu cursing his Qabil. Or he on Twitter space, you know, cursing his Qabil. But you will never see Hawiya do that. You will never see Darod do that.
Isaaq in Mogadishu is paid already. Hawiya in Hargeisa is not paid.
No, but even if you pay Hawiya in Hargeisa, they all get paid. They get position, they get job tenders, but they don't abuse their people.
They're not paid for propaganda.
Yeah,
they're not paid for. I wish they were paid for propaganda, but they don't, because Hawiya wants your 26th June. Hawiya don't is Ugaranaya.
That's why I say you cannot even pay. No, you cannot pay him to go and abuse.
Hargeisa doesn't need Mogadishu. Mogadishu needs Hargeisa, so Mogadishu is gonna play all the tricks. Marka Isaaq atagaya Mogadishu. Of course, he's a traitor. He's gonna do whatever his master tells him to do.
You have not understood me what I'm saying. You know, even during when he was given everything by SNM, but he never abused his Hawiya people. Where Tur went all straight and hammer and abused his people. You get my point? That's what I'm showing you. That's the difference. Even if they take something from you, it will never
I did say, if I sign this paperwork, Mujahid Asman Idris says it on, if you watch YouTube, I did when he brought to Kenya to meet with Moi, he and it was yes, Mujahid Idris Asman. He brought Igal and I did to Kenya to meet with Moi. I did say I cannot sign this paperwork to give Somaliland recognition, because the Hawiya people will kill me. The Hawiya people don't tolerate Garanayan. And Isaaq men will have signed this document if it was vice versa. Isaaq people will not have killed him.
Exactly. But, you know, that's why I say it's the responsibility, the dignity starts with the one person. And then it become part of the whole ecosystem. You know, he say that, but he knows he himself, he will never sign, even if Hawiya don't kill him. You get my point? So dignity always starts with the one person. That's why I say you will never find an Hawiya or Darod in Hargeisa, even if you pay them 10,000, 1 million, causing his tribe. But you will see them Isaaq people in Hamar, in Garowe, in here Twitter spaces do exactly that. That's what my point is. We have here a lot of them. They even created Twitter spaces. They say the end of Isaaqism, as if it's. Have you ever seen Daro say the end of Darodism or the end of Hawizm? Like that's what it is, and you find them in dozen. Dignity is started with an individual, and they become an ecosystem.
It's different also cultures, Walalo. As you said, these people from Somaliland, they were free people, multiple dimensions. You talk about this all the time. Now look at Somalia. These people, like Faran can say, they have a system. They're conformists. They conform to this system. The Arodka, amongst themselves, waste Babiyan. Like when it comes to Somaliland, that's where the back stops there. The Arodka, they nafsu mahayan. Hawiya nafsu mahayan. Lakin when it comes to matter Somaliland, you see they unite. Anaka,
But that's okay. That's
Anaka,
okay. You can eat with
because
your family
they
matter,
don't
but you
also,
don't go
no, they
outside
don't, no,
to,
yeah,
to
exactly. But
destroy your
Iyaka,
family. You never do
they
that.
don't believe in Somalinimo. Lakin adiga waxa lakugu xanibay waxaan la yidhahdo Somalinimo. You think these are your family. Iyaka, they don't see you as a family. They want to destroy you. They want your country. So adiga, look at how you're coming from two different angles. Isaaq and Bas, they look at these other Somalis as their kin. Even who are educated, I see them here on Twitter writing nonsense. Women and men I thought were educated. Waxay ku hadlayaan, you feel like vomiting. Kuwan Soomaaliyana, they don't see you as they see you as their moral enemy. Waxay rabaan inay ku baabi'iyaan. Dhulkaagay rabaan. So yeah, even waxaa ka duulaysaan different planes. Oh my God, I don't know, Ayan, things are not looking good here.
But this is the thing that I don't understand, Edna. How could you 1960 until today to think these people are your family, but your own people within it, your South people that you live with them, you marry with them, you think that you don't treat them as a family. I guess let me give an example. African Americans have been living with white people. They share the DNA too. A lot of, if you do a DNA of African America, 45% up to 70% is white. Even if they look black people. But you will never see a black America invite a white America to cause a black America. Ever. In ever the life.
Many Candy Owen. Many, yeah, I think
No, but
there are many.
those are outliers.
Kanye West to say there's no slavery. Wait, and there are many traitors. Even the Jewish traitors I am.
That's an outlier.
Kena Wudaran. Kena Wudaran.
No, that's an outlier. Even if they talk about that, they talk at the sense of America. That's what they believe. They don't go there. They think like if we say this to black people, meaning we want the best for black people. They don't go there because just to make white people feel good. They believe in some conservative ways of thinking and so. But you cannot see them in totality. Like I'm not talking 1, 2, 3 people. In totality, look at the MPs in Somalia. That's a good number of people. We have not counted the people who lives there and doing some horrible thing for Somaliland. Even this Kanye West, if he says that he get paid, but he will never do the dirty job. He will just say get paid. That's it. He will just say and get paid, and then that's it. He goes on. But an Isaaq person will even do a dirty job. They will go to international community and destroy Somaliland and say it's how people are this and this and this and this. Exactly. In a very destructive, self-destructive. I'll say they're mostly like they're very self-destructive, and it's very horrible to have a bunch of people who are self-destructive. And exactly what happened in 1960, it happened today.
I think that is the correct term. Self-destructive. This is the term.
Very self-destructive. I used to say very suicidal people, because when you're very self-destructive, you can even self-suicide yourself. And that's why you see people who use some drugs sometimes, and they get it to a point of mental health, and then they want to kill themselves and things like that. It's because of the self-destruction status that you're going on, and then you get to that point. Anyways, that's why you see even 1960, when they did that exactly, it was self-destructive. Because what did the end of that? It became what? Isaaq genocide. Nobody even thought about those things, because if they were not self-destructive and sit down and see, what is okay, ABC, yes, no, okay, if it's yes, this is gonna be, if it's no. Nobody even took the drawing, put the pen down and drawing things, what would be. Never. It was, let's go. And exactly, Red Hammer call us Kardan. And that's what it is, self-destruction. Kardan is just, it's exactly that. I think they kind of notice. And it's easier to notice, because what do? You come here and just doing what? Of course, they did for all. So they say that for all Somalilanders, and I feel somehow because we're mixed. All Somalilanders are mixed. Maybe we spread our blood, destructive blood somewhere. I feel all Somalilanders are very self-destructive, but there's a level of it. It's like on top, and then the other ones maybe in the middle. But all of Somaliland are very self-destructive. All of them. Even these people call themselves ACC. They're gonna cry. They're gonna cry. And everything I say here on Twitter is always happen. I'm just waiting for them to see several Kashmiris that happen within them. I never predict things, but when it comes to Somaliland, it has been always, my prediction always come true. Everything, even this Laascaanood, I predicted it happened and happened. So easy to read Somaliland. You don't even need a degree. It's super easy to read Somaliland. You can know where's next. I can tell you exactly what is next of Somaliland. I have 5 years from now. The way we're going things and how we can change and how we're gonna go. So let them celebrate ACC, but it's gonna come ACC 1, ACC 2, ACC 4. And then anyways, whatever that. Maybe they might change the course. I don't know. Maybe they listen to me now and then try to figure out how to make changes. Good for them. But if they don't, that's what's gonna happen. Anyways, but yeah, Somalilanders, all of them are very self-destructive. Isaaq people are just on top. They're the worst one when it comes to self-destruction. How to cure that? We need some psychological people to come here and really help us how to cure a society like that. Because it's not just Musabe or I mean, leadership is good if we find some guy who's stable, who's not self-destructive. It's good, but it's like even society too. Very self-destructive. That's why they cannot even hold their leaders to accountable. A leader could do anything, very self-destructive, and nobody's gonna hold them. When they did 1960, even though they say no, but there was no mechanism to hold them and say no, we cannot go to Somalia. They all packed into their Fiat. All of them went to Hammer. Dance little beach until it's no longer to be danced. Now they are being started to be killed. They all went. They celebrated. They went to. Wallahi, it's almost like they were in cocaine. The Somalilanders who went to Arab, the Gulf countries at that time, Tahrib, all of them, they'll come and build houses in Hamad. They even forget Bura. Wallahi, these people are really self-destruct. They forget Hargeisa. They forget Arigabo. They forget Boram. All of them actually, all Somalilanders, but most of them they were Isaaq. They forget They forget their Laascaanood. Laascaanood is stopped built because of Somaliland. It was two houses or three houses. All of them went and built Hammer. Build a Hammer, Hadana, wherever close to airport. Even some of my aunties have houses over there. And they came from Saudi Arabia. They all forget. Even some of them will come, will say Hammer will go back to Riyadh, Dubai, Qatar, Kuwait. They will never even touch the Hargeisa. And this is another thing too. Put that in your note, Edna. The Swahili people say, usiache mbachao kwa msala upitao. This is applied to Somaliland, especially Isaaq. They always have they look down themselves, their people. Very bad things to have that. You look down where you came from. And then look at all successful people. They always say they appreciate where they came from. Humble beginnings. Anybody who is successful, they will always tell you that. When they do even their speeches, my humble beginnings, where I came from, they always appreciate where they came from. Somali, especially Isaaq, they don't appreciate where they came from. And when you don't appreciation start, you appreciate where you come from, your land, you come from, your people you came from, and always you build them up. Today, the CEO of Google, he's an Indian guy. He appreciates where he goes. All the Android phones that are gonna pass through Google, all of them are gonna be produced in India. Have you seen a Somaliland? Look at Dabshil, who made his money in Somaliland. He's gonna go build a big, beautiful city in Hamar, not in Bura, not in Hargeisa, and not in Berber, because he doesn't appreciate his humble beginnings. And the worst thing that you could have in a human being, and this is actually, there are some people who are like this. In Tanzania, I grew up in Tanzania. There's people from Zanzibar. They have these like Somalilanders, like Isaaq people, but they start to change. There's some conversation nowadays. They kind of, for the past 5 years, I've seen a lot of changes. So these people are very business oriented. They make good money, but they don't appreciate their humble beginnings. So all of them, all their wealth in Zanzibar, they build in Dar es Salaam. But of course, Zanzibar, Dar es Salaam used to be one country back in the days. But the way they came from, the village that they came from, they didn't build anything. They build beautiful high-rises building in Dar es Salaam, and then they go back home to their family. They go to this little mundul in Pemba or in Zanzibar somewhere. You know, they don't build anything to their villages. These 5 years, a lot of people have been start talking within the community. I've start seeing changes. Zanzibar nights get built up, alhamdulillah. And this is the conversation. It's how people need to have within themselves. You know, go build your home. Always build your home, because the Swahili says, "Siache mbachao," never leave your old rugs for the passing time, because Hammer is the passing time. You build the Hammer, guess what? The Morian took all your houses because it was a passing time. You think the houses that you build in Hagisa, any Morian will take? No, they will never take it. It will be yours always. The ones you build in Bura, in Borame, they will always be yours. So they have this tendency. They are not, like you say, they're iman. They don't have iman. When you have an iman, it started from your home, from appreciate where you came from. So I've seen with a lot of Isaaq, they don't have the appreciation. Like, and I think a lot of people have noticed, they say kibri, iman, not appreciate things where you came from, you know. People who appreciate their homeland, even it looks ugly, they always go back and build up, you know. They don't yes and then go and build something else. So this behavior I've seen a lot with Somalilanders. All of them, but the Isaaq are put on top because they're majority of them, you know. But all of them, they have this tendency of yesing where they came from, you know. And there's a level of it, but that's not a good culture to have. That's not a good behavior. Always you have to build where you come from, your humble beginning, where you're from. Build up, make the best of the best, you know. If you came from a village, go back and build that village to look the best of the best. In Tanzania, we have this tribe, it's called Chaga, it's from Arusha, Kilimanjaro. These people and their business, one of the business people to compare to the Zanzibari, they're also business people. They come in Dar es Salaam, they make a lot of money. But the first thing they do, they build the best house for their parents back in Kilimanjaro. And the one of the most cleanest city in Tanzania is Kilimanjaro. It's because of that. They not only build the good houses for their mothers and their grandmother with the electricity, with the satellite and everything, cable and everything. They build the roads. They build the like it's like what. Edna, if you go to East Africa, go visit Kilimanjaro. It's beautiful. It's because of that. And all these people, they are very educated. The Chaga people, some of them live in America. They always going back and build their village. Their village looks better than Dar es Salaam, the capital city, because they always appreciate their humble beginning. So that's another things that I've noticed with Somalia, especially Isaaq people, because you see in the 1960s. My mom was so surprised, like everyone was going.
Yeah, the Isaaq people are, these people are weird. Okay, so 1960, they took their country to this place. They took their money to Somalia. They were the ones who were educated. So in the beginning, they kind of thought, oh wow, we are we are like the top guns here in Somalia, because Somalians were colonized people. So the Isaaq people in the first years were, wow, let's build this country up. Waxay soo arkeen kaaliska arag, the top creme de la creme. They don't have the same position today in Somalia. Today is markay Somalia tagaan, they are reverse position. يعني I don't understand.
If they
I don't think maanta Somalia, reer Somalia waxay rabaan to feel better about يعني Somalia, they remember your history, they remember who you are, they know what country you come from. marka iyaka reer Somalia way rabaan inaad u tagtid Somalia so inay kaa dhigtaan waiter. Aniga wiil ma jeerteena kan igu yidhi wuxuu yidhi gar oo imaadan our waiters and we are very happy about it. Waxaan ku yidhi is because you have an inferiority complex. Waa sida nin cadana markuu nin madow markuu qorto nin cadana is the same dynamic. The thing is, I don't know how to put it, man. That is duleeyay wadadkan. Wadad is duleeyay. And then they ask each other every time waxay ku soo galayaan Twitter waxay ku oranayaan people hate us. Isaaq, then why should you care if these people hate you? Other people love your values. White folks love your values. Adi waxaad tahay egalitarian. Dadka ma dhibaataysid. Axdiya leedahay you promise kaaga. Like when I speak to other people, they love my values. So why unan Somali dan u eegayo? Why should this Somali, yani the opinion of Somali matters so much to me when there are so many other people who kind of like my values? Isaaq and orana habeen iyo maalin, I don't understand this ayan. These Somalis almost wipe them out from the face of the earth.
Edna, if you wanted to be the one of the weakest person is always to look for people to love you. Isaaq here, even on social media, you see some people, they ask me why I block people because I don't look for like. I can put my post in one person like I don't care, you know. It was like they would they will be having conversation with the rest of even though they know they hate them. They would have with conversation with everyone else. They abuse them, but I block them because you know I don't need their like. I don't need them to read me. I don't need to change them. Why do you need Somalia to change them? For what? That means you don't trust you don't have a confidence. You don't trust that you can survive yourself. In this amazing planet with 7 billion people, you needed people who are, what is that, 10 millions? When there's 7 billion people? That's like
actually these other people that you went to, for example, when you went to Kenya, you were liked. People liked who you are, your traditions, your norms, the way you did things. People like you. When you went to the UK, they liked you. When you went to the Gulf states and other countries, they liked you. So look at these people. Maanta waxay isku soo kooban Soomaalidana ma jecla. Soomaalidana sheegaysid kuma jecla. Wadankaaga aad u furtay. waxaad tiri sidaad rabtid ka yeel. Dadkayga way ku baaba'ayaan Somaliland. Horumar Soomaalidan way ii diideen. Laakiin iyaka waan u ogolaanay wax walba. Hadana maanta waxaa jira mid stay soo galay. I think waa hawiye. Wuxuu yidhi أراد ملد أن الشباب لو عاون لهيدين ده واني عاون لهين واني تعلان لهين and I'm thinking هاوية وحي كبوحان Somaliland ويكو عنا ماشين وحتى في مرأي Somali دي وباب أسنا كل هود وحي مادين ماشين 1991 وحالي برعوز كتشوغا كوي هادنا وكوي ودرنا نباب إني يكمي هاين هادنا reer Somaliland especially qabiilkan anigu ka dhashay waxaan ku nacabahay qabiilkan anigu ka dhashay beelawaasin weeye runtii suma sheegaan I'm telling you the truth Isaaq dadka been badan wajigii maan anigu arkin dad khiyaali dugsada Cabdi Xasiis anaad Isaaq tahay like me aniga de Isaaq meel walban ka ahay laakiin waa dad khiyaaliga dugsada Stop the freaking nonsense. Hawiyahana sheegaysaan. What kamida dadkii ina baabiye. They freaking were the worst foot soldiers. Okay? Burco waxa la ku yiri iska jooga waayo SNM markii meeshaas xoreysay waxa la ku yiri iska jooga waayo kuwan Puntland ay baabiinaya. Pro Barre troops are joogay meeshan ay Puntland. marka nin hawiyaa maanta soo galay space waxaan uu hadda wuxuu yidhi haa adana caawin lahaydeen dee waxaas iyo waxaas aniguna waxaan idhi dee hawiya waxay ku canamaaleen somaliland way tuban yihiin aniga burco tagay meel walba way joogaan businessay ku leeyihiin lama dhibaateeyo kaalay iska arag kuma aqoonsana waxaas dhan you know why because of this policy there is no يعني is a no man's land in Somaliland qabiilka la ku duleeyay Somaliland waa qabiilka la rabo Isaaq aniga hadda dhulkan ii sheegaya diida ogolaada qabiilka la ku gumaaday Somaliland waa Isaaq waxa weeye 85% iyaga lafdabarka Somaliland haddana ma jirto nin eeg aniga staaray in social media inaan Isaaq iraado meel walba Isaaq qoro waayo waxaan dareemay Isaaqii maba oran karaan Isaaq waxa la kariyo waslad quruna oo la ka ashaato this is freaking shocking to me qabiilkaaga la qoran miyaad aragteen daarood oo la ku yiri irir Soomaali soo gala miyaad aragteen hawiyada ku yiri Isaaq soo gala miyaad aragteen daarood la yiri Isaaq soo gala adiga maxaa la kugu oranaya irir Soomaali soo gal mise dir soo gal why are you the freaking target nimankii Isaaq la yaqiinay xagee joogaan nimankii Isaaq ayaan aniga de waxay dhalay dad haliyay ah where are this man ma awoodey aqbali laha maanta nin haweeney ku yiraahdo irir Soomaali soo gal waa maxay waxan dadkan baabay waa maxay يعني قبليه ساقنا مين يقنا حرنا هي والله يقبا كوانا يقبا marka sida la raba laga yelo maanta waxa lagu weeri nasabkaaga ka bax hadana waxa tani aan special sheekaysano no we cannot speak to each other Isaaq ada duli noqotay anigu duli ma ihi absolutely I refuse this
Where am I? I even forgot why I was talking. Anyways. Yes, you're right about identify. People feel. You know, the funny thing is, it was funny. Like long time ago, I noticed exactly that people were. This guy who was identifying himself as Isaaq, and everyone was like, "Oh, Kabialis." It was like, what? And below that comment, someone is identifying proudly about being Darod. I was like, what is this? And the person who called that person Kabialis is another Isaaq. I was like, what? It just doesn't make sense. Isaaq is an identity. You should be proud to be Isaaq. You know, God made you. You know, why you feel ashamed about being Isaaq? That means you're inferior. You feel inferior. Some have insecurity issue. Be proud of who you are. You know, you're Isaaq. Identify yourself as Isaaq. Identify whatever you want to identify. God give you identity, and the good thing is, it's even in our hadiths. You know, Allah says, identify yourself to know each other's. You know, so it's not even going against religion or anything else. You're not here using qabil to abuse another person. If you do that, then yes, that's wrong. But if you are being proud of who you are and you try...
Ayan, forget about even using Isaaq. You're told Isaaq is not enough. Come other people are allowed to be assimilated. In your freaking own country, you're being told to be assimilated by a Hawiya from Somalia.
What?
Meaning that Hawiya becomes Iris Somali will take your land because that's the grandchild of Iris Somali.
And you know Somali meaning shaitan. So your sons and daughters of shaitan.
I saw Abdul Bahante guy telling another guy yesterday here, telling an Isaaq guy, go back to Somalia, you're Iris Somali. Look at how these people were. You see the tactic? waxa la yiraahdo aqbal irir Somali waxay ku badan Soomaaliya so Abdul Bahante guy is telling an Isaaq I saw on Twitter Somalian kuwa celinayna because you are irir Somali. Look at that Ayan. Look at the game these people have been playing. Isaaq in a way different.
It's just a childish game. Anyways, but it's for me that's where it's funny. I feel I when I read something like that, it's very childish. But some people take it literally. for some reason, and I don't know why. Wallahi, it's because, like I said, you give values to it. Somalimo, you give it value, and then when you told things like this, and then you give it value. That's the problem about our people. Wallahi, like we're dealing with the little kids. It's like the brain of people become like almost a aruta. Even aruta, they ask why, how, question like that. You don't see those questions have been asked by our people. It's like they just take it and consume it and give it value, give it importance, and things like that. Is yeah. So even the idea that why I'm not, they hate me. Like, who cares? When you hate, that means you're doing something good. You should get more haters. Who get hate? People who are doing good things. Well, yeah, you should get more haters. You should look for more haters. You should look for Amhara to hate you. Why you look only Somali to hate you? You should look for Tigray to hate you. Meaning you do good things, therefore they can hate you. Yeah. You should look for Kenya, for Kikuyus to hate you. You should look for white people to hate you. Things like that. Eh, you are doing good things. White people hate Jewish people. Look at Jewish people. MashaAllah, Barakallah. Let's be honest. They're most innovative people ever. Most educated, scientific. We talk about science and everything. It's all the Jewish people. Come on, guys. All these beautiful movies and all these beautiful innovations were Jewish people. That's why everyone hates. Even Adan people hate. White people, European hate Jewish people because of that. They do good things. They are very they're not cowards. They're 15 millions. Arab were 500 millions. They've been really kicked them ass since 1940s. Imagine 15 people kick ass the whole 500 people. They have a confidence. So it's not about the numbers. I even see like other people say, oh, we don't have a good. It's not about numbers. It's confidence. Trust yourself. Be innovative. Look for alliance. People say, oh, America helping Jewish people. They get to a point where they deserve the hate, the help. Nobody help you if you don't deserve it. They put themselves in the position where everyone needs to help them. Did you put you put yourself in the box of Somalimo? Is America's gonna know you? They're not gonna know you. They're gonna find where's this Somali thing? Oh, it's Somali passport. Then they're gonna go to Somalia. They're not gonna even come to you. But if you have your unique identity, this is me, and then you do good things, people are gonna know you're gonna come for you, gonna defend you, gonna work with you, and things like that. So I know some Somali, they've been told, Somalilanders have been told to hate the Jewish people. Jewish people are courageous people. They're innovative. 15 million. They are excelling in every sector. From fighting, from innovation. Imagine that. They're amazing, man. That's the most amazing people ever. Badass at all. I love Jewish people because of that. They kick ass, because they have confidence. It starts within. When you have confidence, you believe in yourself. It doesn't mean you're not gonna be weak sometimes, but you're always gonna prevail. You're always gonna prevail. You're gonna find some knuckles. You're gonna knock yourself a little bit, but you're always gonna come up. So that's what it is, and that's why everyone hate them. Arab hates them. Adam people hate them. Nowadays, even all Muslim hate them. So everyone hate them, but they don't care. You think they care? They continue. They work together as a community and be excellent. So you should be that type of people. You should never see like, someone hate me, and you start crying. What is this? Insecurity. So we need to overcome our insecurity and feel comfortable to be hated. You're not hated because you did bad things. You are hated because you're good, and that's a good thing. Even Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has haters. The whole Makkah hate him. His own cousins, Abdi, hate him. But he didn't go and cry and say, "Oh, my Tiasha, they hate me," or things like that. He found solution. He went to Medina and built the beautiful, beautiful deen that today we all actually appreciate him and um, and say his name 5 times a day and even more because of that. So it's you always have to prevail, and you cannot prevail if you lack confidence. You cannot prevail if you're looking to be loved. you know all the greatest people, they were never loved. Their legacy was loved, but at the time when they were doing things, nobody loved them. All of them. Look at most biggest innovators. Like when we're not talking about religion, Prophet Musa himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was not loved by his own people. The Israeli people didn't love him too. You know, Nabi Isa, the same thing too. His own community didn't love him. But look, the Ansaras who became billions because of following his teaching, even if they're not doing the right ways. So if you always look to be loved, to be liked, you're wasting your time. You're wasting to be an excellent person. Always work to be the best, doing good, being big, being winner, and people will love you. I always say, if you win, people will come. Always looking to be winners. And you cannot be a winner if you have a zero-sum mentality. You have to have a positive sum game. You have to think about danta good, like Edna says. You have to think about confidence. You have to think about all those things, and then you win because of that. You just don't win just for the sake of winning. You just win because you're doing amazing things, and then people will come to you. But as long as you're looking to be loved, you're not gonna win. Yeah, you're not gonna have any legacy, and you're just gonna